Good evening. My head is really red because I have a light colored shirt on, and my camera, if I have anything other than a black shirt on, thinks that I'm having a stroke. So you're not here to look at my face. You're here to play guitar, and so close your eyes while you do it, and we'll all get along just great. I'm going to go post this link over on our website. If you don't know already, the website is denverguitarorchestra.com. We have a little tiny group that meets here on Wednesdays to play guitar and try to get better. And so I'm here to facilitate that meeting. And the way we do that is we post the link on the website. And then I wander around looking where it always scrolls it crazy after I hit paste. Then I find the link again. I hit bold. Link, enter, edit, settings, open it in a new window, update, and update. If you are playing with us tonight, you want to swing by the website, denverguitarorchestra.com, and pick up the sheet music. Songs tonight are going to include Frère Jacques and Farmer in the Dell out of Book 1, out of Book 2, La Cucaracha and London Bridge is Falling Down, which is really 2 songs. And then Book 3, Down by the Riverside, Estudio in E minor, and for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. And then that's usually where a few people sneak out after that. We do have a classical program we're working on, building the sheet music for. We're going to have last night with Ferdinando Carulli's Waltz, Opus 241, number 1. And then we have a couple of Klangbilds from Carlo, and I'll mispronounce his last name, Domeniconi, I think, maybe. Klangbild 11 and Klangbild 13. They're really just exercises. And then for the next, for the study period in the next couple weeks, we start Iberian Dance, which is a modified version of Malagueño. So we have some good stuff to work on today, and a couple of dumb things, but mostly good stuff. Let me put this over on Twitter, denverguitarorchestra.com. I do all this stuff to promote our existence, and still nobody knows about us. Nobody Googles anything, I don't think. You can't trust Google results, right? Google, you have to pay for stuff for them to make a big deal out of you, and I don't pay for stuff. This is all free. So, all right, Denver Guitar Orchestra is posted. We can close Twitter. We look over here. Linda and Vic are here. They are our 2 leading guitarists in the program. And how was last night, ladies? Good, bad? Vic, I know you said you were struggling just a tiny bit. I noticed the entire group was struggling a little bit last night. I think I'm getting the sense it's probably a great moment to have a few days off and take next week off. It happens. I've noticed a lot of times over the years where we sort of, like the ukulele orchestra, usually around week 4 or 5, people start to freak out a little bit, right? Just because there's a lot to do and a lot to know, and they get a little nervous. Guitar orchestra, I think there's times when people just get tired, and so for me, that's usually a sign of, hey, we need to just shake it up a little bit. So obviously let me know if it's getting out of hand, the difficulty level, and I'll see if I can do something about it. Of course, the hard part is you guys are not in the room, and so it's when you're in the room, the physical nature of it, and just there's just a sense of, hey, the timing is a little easier. So it's not quite as difficult, I think, as when you're online and you're relying entirely on the sound coming through the speakers. Linda says, good, better than the week before. Well, see there. And I believe both of you guys are playing melody, if I remember right. And so please definitely let me know if there's stuff that we need to work on to make that go more smoothly and more happily for you. Can't fix everything, obviously, but we can. A lot of times I can sit down and say, all right, we're struggling in this section. What do we need to do? and then it's okay. It's the speed I have difficulty keeping up with. I think that's probably true, Vic. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So we could talk about some speed drills, right? Which I think when we're struggling with speed and we're playing melody, usually the problem is usually we are trying to play. We're not giving ourselves permission to skip over the hard stuff. And so when I'm at school and we are playing, we're playing stuff that's quite clearly beyond my ability at this point. There are places where I'm just like, I'm just going to hit the first note of every measure, and we'll get through this section, and then we'll get on to a section that I can play. And so give yourself permission not to play on at times. And also, I think we'll use Frère Jacques as a good example tonight. Go ahead and pull out Frère Jacques in first position. Not Brother John, pull out the other one. In fact, I think on your copy on the site, it doesn't even say in first position. It just says Frère Jacques, right? Oh, it does say in first position. Okay, so let's talk about if we were struggling with speed on this, and of course you guys are not struggling with speed on this. Melody for you. Okay, so Vic, you are playing melody, right? I don't want to. In Frère Jacques, right? You know you're going to be fine playing chords. Frère Jacques, do mi do, no big deal, right? But if you're playing melody, and if we were playing this too fast. And so I made a ton of mistakes trying to play it too fast, and so I usually it's me. I'm thinking, all right. So first of all, I want to have better form. Okay, want to make sure I'm holding the guitar well. Make sure it's propped up properly. Make sure that I got good positioning. My hands are doing what they're supposed to do. I have a tendency to cram all my fingers together in these super tight chords, which is not ideal, but we can get away with it on A chord if we're just holding that. Second thing I think is, am I playing the whole thing with my thumb? Okay, which is probably the best sounding, but not necessarily the fastest. That's going okay. Sometimes easy chords. Okay, Vic. We'll talk about chords separate from how to make your life easier with melody. The problem with melody is it's either right or it's wrong, right? And so let's pretend that measures 5 and 6 are not playable for you right now. Let's pick a speed that's a tiny bit slower. So we would go. Well, I can't. I just played it with my thumb, not too smooth. What if I play it with just these two fingers? Well, actually, let's play whatever. Let's just anchor thumb, index, middle, ring. None of the melody notes are beyond string 4, so let's just do that. If it's on the 3rd string, let's play the index finger, 2nd string, middle finger, and 1st string with your ring finger. See if that smooths it out a tiny bit over your thumb. Ready, play. I think initially that would probably slow me down, is playing everything with an assigned string, but it's certainly something that feels like maybe that could be a little bit faster, because if I play with my thumb only, I'm doing okay, but the song is simple. If I'm doing a faster song with a lot more complex melody, probably not going to keep up. That's why you see when you see guitarists holding a pick and playing chords, they're not doing melody at all. They're doing rhythm. They're in there just making sure the beats are happening. But when you see melody players, and that's classical finger style, and oddly banjo players, right? They are in this claw position because there's no way to go fast enough unless you're in claw position. So definitely give that a shot if you are not already. The other thing that can speed it up is just to use 2 fingers, index, middle, index, middle. I find it tends to goof me up a little bit, but it's sure worth a try. And let's try it together. Just use your index and middle, nothing else. Ready? Play. Noticed I went and saw Anna Vidovic. She did a concert here, and she's one of the top classical guitarists in the world. And I noticed a huge portion of the time she's only playing with index and middle, and of course she's playing way more notes at way higher speed than I'll ever be able to play. And she just got this where this is on autopilot, and so probably working on your index and middle, not a bad idea. Come back to a relatively simple song like this and just practice doing that. Index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, index, middle, 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 middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, and try that just to see if you can start talking your fingers into those. I don't necessarily think those will make you faster right off the bat, but I do think those are things that will make you really much faster long term. So really be focused in on your claw a little bit, and really be focused in on index, middle, index, middle. I think that'll help. I definitely also think for myself, thinking about thumb, index, middle, ring, and sort of parking them on strings 4, 3, 2, and 1 has made me faster over the years. Still got a long way to go on that, but I definitely think those are helpful. And then the third thing is, and this is really challenging, if you know you're coming up to a section you're going to blow, let's say you know for sure you're going to blow measures 5 and 6. What I would tend to do, and I do this at school all the time, we're coming in, let's play, and then let's just play on the quarter notes in measure 5. So it would be, start from the beginning, ready, play. 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 0. Every other note. 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2. And just let those ones that are going to be a problem slide right on by. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Also, in some of those songs, when we're going, like Octopus's Garden, we're supposed to be at 140, right? Good chance that there's entire parts of that song you're just like, no, I'm going to let it go. Let it go. Let your team... we have, it's fascinating. We got over here melody players. I have one guy who's brand new to guitar. I have another person who's new to guitar, but she's studying like crazy, right, Nancy? I have a couple of other people who are been in with guitar a long time, but they're not able to practice as much as they need to, and so their skills are sort of here. Then I have a couple players been around a while, really, really solid melody players. Don't worry about them at all. I've got a couple of chord players over here. I'm one, a college-trained music graduate, right? Another guy who plays a ton of guitar, just able to. So you can depend on your team to cover up the stuff that you can't do, and it's okay. I mean, honestly, obviously, as a guitarist, you want to get where you can do it all, but there is a maturation process. I'm first year at school. That's perfectly fine that I don't play every single note. Let's see. When I get panicky, I use the thumb, so I work using index middle. Yeah, I'm the same. I used to be very bad about that, where I'm like, especially teaching, I'm like, okay, I got to play this song right, and so I would inevitably resort to my thumb. I'm really trying to talk myself out of that habit. I think there's really a very good reason to play with a thumb a lot of times in this style of play. If I did that in classical guitar school, they'd lose their minds. But definitely, I know why you go to your thumb. I absolutely do the same thing. But yeah, for sure, definitely be working on that index middle, index middle. The ring finger you got to work on some, but generally speaking, and just watching Anna play last weekend, she does use a ring like any other finger. It's not something weird or odd for her, but given that her druthers, it's these two, and and fast, super complicated pieces, index middle, but there are times when that ring finger is going to be necessary. So I think giving yourself permission to just take time, go back to the slower pieces, index middle, and try to get it where it's always alternating, right? Where even when it would be smarter to use your middle finger, but it's your index finger's turn, use your index finger. Yeah, and getting panicky, I know that feeling a lot. Every single time I play at any level, you see the tough part coming, or you get yourself into a little bit of a pickle. The tendency is just shut down, and you've seen me do it plenty online. I don't mean to do it, but there are times when you get panicking, and forcing yourself to just move forward is really probably the most valuable musician skill. There's learning how to play the guitar is pretty valuable, but learning how to play, to push forward through the mistakes, keep your rhythm steady, that's a very difficult skill to master, and I think and obviously one of the more important ones. Linda says, I get tripped up when I check where my left hand is on the fretboard. yeah, I'll tell you my secret for that. Okay, and we all have a tendency, because we're online and we're looking at the computer, we have a tendency to put the music right in front of your computer, probably. And so you're sitting here, guitar, music, computer, probably, right? When you're working, the easier thing to do, especially in orchestra where you guys are not necessarily relying on me to conduct you, you're relying on me to help you get the first beat or two going, but after that, you sort of use your peripheral vision over here to see me conducting. I'm also trying to count measures as much as it seems reasonable to do so, and so that'll help you know where you are. Also, you get the oral stimulation of the rest of the orchestra, so you have a pretty good idea. So to put your music underneath your fretboard, so over here, so if I'm sitting here getting ready to perform, I'm sitting here, guitar forward, feet forward, got my thing propped up, everything's good, and my music's going to be over here, and it's going to be underneath the fretboard. And so if I'm going along, how do I play a song? Right? I am now looking through, not through my fretboard, but right over the top of my fretboard at the music. It's right over here. I'm now in perfect position to double check my fretboard more quickly. And what I find a lot of times when I need to play a 3, and my fingers sometimes are up here on 4, sometimes they're back here on 2. Most of the time they're right on the bar somewhere, so I get this kind of sound. But it's much easier to go ahead and to be able to double check your hand if your sheet music is right underneath where your eyeballs should be, right? So ideally, we will have all the sheet music memorized, and we'll just know what everything is on here by the time the concert comes around. The truth is that's not going to happen, and so having it where you can see here and hear kind of at the same time, I still have to look up away from the music, but it's a much less distance for my eyes to travel. I don't have to travel here to here and back. So that's something that you might give a try. is just making sure. And I put this when I'm here at home working on my own for whatever I'm working on. I put that. You see how high this is, right? This is the top of my sheet music is right, well, basically in line with the bottom of my nose. It's high up because I really, if I go perform in a concert, if I know I'm going to be in a concert, of course I'm going to lower this down so it's not quite so obtrusive and looks so weird, and then I'll be having it down there. But of course, if I'm doing a concert, I will have very solidly. I like to use the sheet music anyway, but I think I'll basically have it memorized anyway. I just use this as a double check or a prompt. Then it'll be much lower. But when I'm here at home practicing and trying to learn the song, this thing is up here where I can see it and is right underneath my hands, and I'm just trying as much as possible to really nail that down. And so maybe that's a helpful idea. Try that. Yeah, let's see. And so just play the quarter notes or even just the first note on each melody. I mean, the first note of each measure. I do it all the time. We have a section, and I'll tell you, obviously you won't do it forever, but when you've got a part that's too hard, it's too hard. And so you're going to go home and work on it, and you're going to mark those pieces in your sheet music. Hey, work on measures 7 and 8 or whatever it is. But we have a part in the orchestra where we go, no, let me give you the other one that I'm struggling with a little bit. It's on the 4th string. Right, so I have to go 9 slur hit, 7 slur hit, 5 slur hit, 3 slur hit, 2 slur hit. If I do it at that speed, I got no problem. I can totally play that piece of music. I have it completely memorized. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do when I get there. The problem is they're playing it at a rate of speed that is not in my wheelhouse. So a lot of times, if I'm having a bad day, it's going to be 9. Let them play the rest of it, right? If otherwise, I may go 9, 7, 5, 3, 2, 2, right, and let them play the zeros. I'm getting closer to being able to do it in proper timing, but yeah, when I first started, I gotta get that. I got my fingers on the 9. Here it comes. Bam, da 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 9, da 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 da, and that's okay, right? It has to be okay because that's all I could do at the time. Yeah, I do think when we play an orchestra, it's super easy to get demoralized really quick. Don't, right? You're there to get better, and you're there at the location at the skill level you're at. When we're an orchestra, honestly, there's a couple of guys, they're seniors in the program. They've been around a long time. They've been playing guitar long. They're really young kids. They're going to play every note. They're going to make this song happen. I'm there to learn and to get better. And and so I lose a little bit of sleep. I definitely want to get better at it, but I also don't. But I also know at this moment in time I can't do that quite yet, and so that's what I'm there to work and learn on. Probably by December I'll be getting more and more of it. But yeah, again, I think even if you're playing melody and you're in the group and you're like, oh, here's that part with all those 16th notes in it. Hit the first note, whatever it is. Move on to the next measure, right? Because you're also learning, the other thing about that is if you just hit the first note, you are also learning how to count and how to come in on the first note of the next measure. And so that's a valuable musical skill that will grow with you over time. I shifted my iPad to the left, and that helps. Great tip. Yeah, and I played forever and never thought about it. And I'm like, why don't I just put the music over here? My eyeball's constantly needing to be here anyway. Why don't I just put it here? And then I don't got to do this thing all day long. And I wish I could tell you Anna did the same thing, but she had 90 minutes of advanced level repertoire memorized, so she didn't bring a music stand. She doesn't need it, right? I watched Gabe give his junior recital a couple weeks back, and no music stand. Walks out with his guitar, sits down, plays for 90 minutes, and then leaves. And so you can understand why when we're talking about music, he started with a music stand just like right there as well. And anything you can do to minimize your crazy is a good idea. So yeah, so hopefully those will give you some suggestions. I do know surviving orchestra is a challenge. I've watched over the years so many people come to orchestra and they get a little bit discouraged, and then they stop coming. They think, I better go home and work on this. I'll work on it at home, and then I never see them again, because the truth is you got to fail a whole bunch in order to get your speed up there. And you'll see by December you'll be much more likely to get even the hard spots done. It just takes some time and some reps and some practice, and you'll start to figure out, all right, when we get to that one measure, I gotta remember to do this. And what you'll find out, you'll accidentally memorize all the hard spots, because you'll know that, hey man, when I get to that spot, I have to do this and this and this and this, and you'll just end up memorizing the hard moments in the song, and you won't even need the sheet music. So all right, hopefully that gave you some ideas. Hopefully that's helpful. It looks like it's just us chickens tonight, so let's just go ahead and play through everything. I only see 2 concurrent viewers in my screen here, so looks like it's the 3 of us. Let's play some music. Let's play Frère Jacques in first position. From the top, let's play it 2 times through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really nice. All right, so there's Frère Jacques. You guys know how to play that. Let's go on to Farmer in the Dell. Since I don't think we have anybody viewing in on tonight, we won't go through the whole detail of this. But remember, when we get to Farmer in the Dell, this is the part where I teach fingerstyle, right? So first thing we do is we go through with the A chord, the farm, the dell, the farmer in the dell, hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell, right? And you do that. And then we play the melody, and usually when I play the melody on this one, I say, all right, let's see how many notes other than 2 you have. Okay. Well, we have some zeros and we have some 2s. This is the perfect moment to talk about moving up to the next level. So in the program, the first day on Brother John, we were just talking about reading tablature. The second song, or the one song we just played, we talked about playing the same song, but mostly holding the chord and doing some minor adjustments to that chord. And really, I only focus in on the melody on Frère Jacques in first position. When I get to Farmer in the Dell, this is where I want everybody to be able to play a chord melody version. So day 3 in guitar, we hold that A chord and we just walk through it. We index finger on and here's a great opportunity to check yourself between a chord, a claw shape, and the thumb shape, right? And really try to make them sound equally beautiful. So if I'm going to do claw shape first, I'm going to play the 2 and then play along with me. You guys know how to do this. And then we go back and do a thumb and try to make it sound just as good. I very rarely do more than 2 verses of that. But as a new player, and you think about guys where you started and where you were backing, and when you just first wandered into guitar, if most guitarists, they learn their chords and they learn to sing over them, and then that's it, and they don't ever spend any time digging into how to make the guitar do the singing for them. I think each way is equally effective. I just know that people who only learn their chords eventually quit guitar, because once they've sung through Metallica's Master of Puppets, then they're done, and there's nothing else to do. But if you talk yourself into playing melody and chord melody on guitar, every song is equally difficult, and as you guys know. So if you're in book 1, I send you off with that as your goal. Your goal this week: play the song just as written, but hold the A chord the entire time. Play that tough axe line and try to get it out. You have 10 times through. Hopefully, one of those times is almost perfect. All right, there's book 1. And I think if I'm right, that's a study piece, right? Let me mention, in case I didn't already, which I'm sure I didn't. I did. So I put it on the website. We're not going to meet next week. I got some life stuff I got to deal with, and so no meeting next week. And so you got 2 weeks to get your Farmer in the Dell tough axe to its highest possible skill set. Let's go grab La Cucaracha out of book 2. This has turned into, we did this. I had never played this before this pandemic, and I was looking for something for ukulele for Old Mexico Week, and I ran into this, and I'm like, oh, that'd be fun, and it's turned into one of my favorite things to play. I just love the idea of this little dancing cockroach coming and rolling through the house. Let's see, there we go. All right. And remember here, we want to play it staccato style. So don't just... Right, we don't, that doesn't sound like a cockroach. So play staccato. And just take your hand and just stick it right back down on the strings after it makes the sound, and it will sound much more like a cockroach dancing on the terracotta tiles. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Right, and I do have some glissandos on here to play, and well, I guess just the last chord, it was, right, and even that I would probably do a little bit staccato, right. I don't think you got to let that ring out. And so you can, and remember, you guys know how to do this too. You got this one, right? We have thumb, index, middle, ring. Still staccato. Lift up on this chord. All at once. Thumb down. You can also do your index down. I don't know if you do that, but you could. And what I do notice when we're playing a song like this, where it's all on the first four strings, these two strings have a tendency to sort of start sympathetically vibrating, and you may need to just take the the heel of your thumb, and let's say you got the D chord and you hit it, and then you lift up. Well, these strings are still buzzing along, right? So you can just take your heel of your thumb and just sort of tap the strings and stuff. That's another irritating skill you have to learn. All right, so that's super fun song, right? That's the world's greatest song. All right, whoops. And then what are we going to give you for the 2-week period ahead? London Bridges. Go grab London Bridges. There's actually some reasonably important thought here. I need to fix one thing here. Edit. This doesn't belong here. Remove. Okay, done. So London Bridge has 2 keys in it, and unfortunately I never have enough time to talk about music theory, but bottom line is, in one key you use one set of chords, in this case A and E and A. Then when you turn the page, you go into C and G and C. Same exact song, just different keys. And we've talked about it before. Remember, A, B, C, D, E, those are best friends. A and E, here they are on this one. If we go to page 2 and we start with C, D, E, F, G, C and G, they're best friends. You will find page 2 much more difficult to play than page 1. So just for the week, play it all 3 ways, play it all 3 ways. Go through play it with chords, and then play it with the melody, and then play the tough acts. If you come back and say, oh yeah, the C section is easier to play, I will know that you didn't practice, because the C section is much harder to play on guitar than the other one. But also pay attention, and I know this isn't a singing class, and for good reason, because I really am a very iffy singer. But if I take this A note, this is my first note of London Bridges. I am tone matching London Bridges, falling down, falling down, falling down. So that's about where it is in my voice, right? And then go over to C. Your first note is here. La 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 la. I don't even know if I'm getting close. La, probably not. La is way out of my skill range. London Bridge is falling down, falling down. So that's an octave. It's not a full octave higher. It is higher. It's only a couple notes higher, but it feels way out of my range. So then the next thought is, all right, that's way too high. Can I drop it an octave? Okay, so if my first note is this G note, or is it lower G note? What about this one? E, A, D, G. London, 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 London. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. Now it's almost too low, but that's one way to adjust your vocal singing. If you're a female, which you two guys are, probably, we don't know anymore. You usually have a better shot at singing those higher notes. Remember, on guitar also, the guitar is ringing a full octave below what is written on the paper. So almost always the guitar is going to be below what a woman can sing, and most of the time even below what a man can sing. But there are points, certainly this song is a good example, where my voice is not going to hit those higher notes, so I would want to transpose it down. And so I think playing in keys gives you a general sense of which chords and keys are working a little bit better for your voice. And then, of course, everything else here is pretty straightforward. Let's play through the... well, we're taking a ton of time tonight, but that's okay. Let's do London Bridge. Let's do the tough acts real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a fermata over there, so I'll give you plenty of time to get back. I was just crossing my mind as I was thinking about, this might be a good speed thing to talk about. One of the things that we've spent a lot of time over the last year, us guys, is playing tough acts, and so we tend to play that much slower and trying to get as much beauty and just nice ringing tones out of the guitar. And when you get to orchestra, all of a sudden we crank the speed way up, and I say, oh, it's an easier part, so you should be able to play it faster. And that turns out to be a bit of a sales pitch. It's not necessarily true. It's still hard and it's still fast, and now it's fast. But take a song like this and just see how fast you could play something like this, just the melody. Or set a timer, say, all right, go, and then see how fast you could play the whole song, right, including the page turn and all that. But if you can play it that fast, see if you can push it even further. Oops, I already blew it. So all of a sudden I'm bringing in other fingers because I know I can get to it faster. So try those sorts of exercises. Give yourself permission to sound terrible, and then just see how fast can I play London Bridges? How fast can I play Danny Boy? How fast can I do this or that? And then just push the tempo like crazy. And what you'll find, the first time through you'll make a ton of mistakes. The second time through you'll be like, all right, I'm gonna be a little bit smarter. I'm gonna set my fingers up a little bit differently so I can get all that stuff down. Kind of a fun thing to do. All right, so London Bridges, you got a couple weeks on that. It's 2-pager. Let's go into page book 3. I'm going to skip Down by the Riverside. You guys know how to play that. Unless somebody screams. If you say, no, I have to have my Down by the Riverside. That's the only song I had a chance to work on. Let's go into the Estudio, E minor by Tàrrega. And as you guys know, we did this on ukulele, and it's a little easier on ukulele because things are way closer together. But on guitar, it's note for note exactly the same. You're supposed to put in the bass notes. I don't, because it creates a way lot more work for what I think is a song that's perfectly fine without the bass notes. But yeah, if you're in love with the song, put them in. It's just a lot harder that way. I think it's fine just to play the bottom 3 strings. All right. Speeding on melody. Yeah, not a bad. It's kind of a fun thing to do too, right? Even a song like Estudio. I wonder how fast I can play this. We never work on that. And that's sort of a thing you work on. If you're working on speed, what will happen is you will crash in places. You'll be like, quonk. On this one, you're going to crash on measure 3. And then you know, okay, when I get to measure 3, maybe I don't play everything. Maybe I just play 5. Right? And you start strategizing around what the crash was and how you were going to survive that crash. So yeah, I think I do that sometimes. I usually do it on easier songs. Just do speed drills. All right, Estudio, top to bottom. Remember, we repeat at measure 8, and then we also repeat at measure 16, and then at measure 16 at the second time. That's what you hope for. Okay. I've been seeing a lot of guitarists play, and harmonics are absolutely part of it, and something that they all do. So you want to get comfy with, yep. You got to get them good on 12 first, and then eventually you get them on 7 and 5, and then you'll start doing artificial harmonics and all that. All right, from the top. 1, 2, 3. That's too fast. 1, 2, 3. Blew it. Shoot. All right, I decided I'm gonna put in those fancy zeros, and then I didn't do it right, and then I blew the harmonics too. Let my last bad shot affect my next bad shot. Isn't that pretty song? Keep working on that one. We're gonna keep that on the list for 2 weeks from now. So we'll keep Estudio in E minor for 2 weeks. So put 2 weeks in on. Really conquer measures 3. I don't think measures 10 and 10 is terribly difficult if you get your pinky on 7 and then drop the bar on there. I think that the key there is landing your pinky on the 7. Then you can easily get your bar on, and then you can move the pinky up to 8. I find the hard part is to hit the last 5 in measure 10 and then get it down here to have your regular G7 on. And the other place I find pretty difficult is this 5-3-5 at the end of measure 11. It's just quite a stretch. And after that, it's stuck soup. Yeah, and so measure 16. I'm going to do it better next time. That's what you want. All right, beautiful. 2 weeks on that. Let's see if you can have it mastered by then. Nice piece of music. Okay, how are we doing on time? All right. Let's talk very quickly about For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. This is not the song. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Let's see. Book 3, edit. Oops, done. Book 3, add. Surely I have it in the computer, yeah. For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. I don't have it in the computer. Let's go get it. Dink, 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 dink. All right, For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. We'll just talk about this very quickly, and then we will move into the classical stuff. For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, the purpose of this is to read repeats, and you guys are already experts at reading repeats, so don't stress it out too much about this one. This is never a song. You're never going to play this chord melody style, but that's what we do around here. Grab your chords. G chord. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. Did you notice how difficult it was? D to D7. It's very weird. It's very unusual to have a tonic chord, the D chord here, going to a D7 chord, which is the dominant 7 of the tonic. It doesn't make any sense that it's there. But what it's really doing is creating a whole bunch of tension to lead into this G, which is a fake ending to it. Fellow, and then back to tonic, which nobody, A7, can deny. Right? Page 2, which nobody can deny. Which nobody can deny. And then the DSL Fine, you guys have seen that before. Go up to the Segno, which is at measure 1, and play down to the Fine. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, oh, for he's a jolly good fellow. And you wait forever, and you just let the audience go, which nobody can deny. So that's how you're really going to play it. I do think that D to D7 switch is kind of a fun thing to do, to work on. You'd think, oh, it's just the same notes except for one. It's just not a move we make very often, and so it takes a minute to think it through. And of course, you'll be able to play the chord melody here. There's nothing that's new or particularly interesting in it, and we'll play that in a couple of weeks. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want to get to the other stuff. So a couple weeks on For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, a couple weeks on Estudio, a couple weeks on London Bridges, and a couple weeks on Farmer in the Dell. So if you're in books 1, 2, or 3, and that's it, and you're not interested in the classical program, that's what I want you to work on for the next 2 weeks. We won't meet next week, but we will meet the week after. And then let's go talk classical music, shall we? Let's do it. Our lovely Klangbilds. They are, I guess is the best way to put that. Guitar, book, classical. Now, remember the reason that we are working on this stuff, right? It's not to play great music. It's to play great skill set so that we can take that skill set over into our classical lives. And so let's look at Klangbild 11 first. We're going to wrap up tonight with the Carulli so that we have a pleasant memory as we go through here. Let's do Klangbild 11. Okay, and notice it says quarter note equals 60. That is slow. Okay, the purpose of this is to get what amounts to a kind of an unmusical piece of music to be as clear and pretty as you can. And so the things I notice on here, I see a segno up there. I said, okay, at some point I'll be back up here, and it says a tempo, and that means the second time around you're going to play it, go back to an original tempo. So we're going to have a slowdown somewhere in here, and of course that shows up in measure 20. See a coda at the end of measure 7. That means I'm going to jump somewhere, and I jump down to 21 to finish the song. And I see the first repeat and second repeat there at 11 and 12. So I think that's really about the only things that are noteworthy in the music. I'd say a lot of times we tend to just go after the notes right away and start playing notes, and we do ourselves a little bit of a disservice by not looking at all of the other things in the music first to get a sense of what we're supposed to do. You guys know when I'm teaching, I almost always start with, all right, let's talk repeats. We're going to go here and here and here and here. Okay, so with this one, not fast, and trying to get your tones as clean as possible. I've been playing the 3s with my middle and ring, but you could probably get away with it, index and middle, whatever. From the top, 1 and 2 and. What? Whoops. Let's start from 11. I apologize. I got my fingering all out of whack here. 1 from 11. 1, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and. That takes you back to 12, so do the pickup. Yeah. There you go to DSL coda. Okay, so now you're going to go back. I lied to you, didn't I? So when you get to 20, you're supposed to go all the way back to the top. It didn't hurt that I took a second stab at 13. I apologize. Measure 20, I thought, oh gosh, we got to go back to 12 first, but we don't. So let's go back to the very top, play the very measures 1 through 7, and then the end. Ready, play. Bunch of stuff I did wrong, so let's talk about those. A couple of things. Measure 4, those are quarter notes. I'm so busy worrying about the 3-2 showing up that I didn't take into account. So if I'm in measure 1, play it from measure 1, and let's treat measure 4 with quarter notes. 1 and 2 and. But paying attention to the fact that those are quarter notes there, I'd probably write myself a note. Gary, what are you doing playing eighth notes here? They're there on purpose. It's a study, right? This is not a song you're going to sit down and prepare for an audience of 200. This is a study to get your hands doing certain things. He puts quarter notes there in their measure 4 on purpose to make you think. How do you play those twice as slow? Also, the tied note in between 6 and 7, you want to pay attention to that because you're going to hit those zeros. And then the 3, and then it opens. Isn't that pretty? And then the big thing with that is after all that fancy stuff, you don't want to delay your entry into measure 8 because measure 8 has half note in there, but that's not really what's going on. The eighth notes in the bass are what's really going on. And so you hit. So don't be slow, don't be lingering around that just because it looks, you had to work kind of hard at the end of 7. You want to just keep pushing forward at measure 8 and your thumb jumps in to take over the melody. So that's something I didn't do well. Measure 16, same exact story. Those are quarter notes and not eighth notes. I had a terrible time getting my fingering on the 1-3s down here. And so if I were working on this song seriously, I would go back. Or it's. The problem here is because you have the 3 in the bass here and the 1 and 3 in the trebles, you really probably need to use your ring finger up here on 3, this 3, and you're going to split these 2 notes, and then you're probably going to need to use your pinky down there to get these other 3s, the other 3. So you're already all spread out. And then when you get to that 2-3 there, your middle finger is going to play the song with your pinky. Right? Do I have it right? I still don't have it right. Your pinky's going to drop. Your middle finger is going to grab that 3rd string. So that little section there is pure misery, and I would say that's probably exactly why I wrote it that way, is to get you thinking about how am I going to get all these notes and get my fingers planted. I'm going to go back in and double check the original sheet music for the fingering here, because I think I'm almost positive you have to play that upper 3 with your ring finger, and then the lower 3s with your pinkies, and of course they have to move around, and of course the hard part with classical music is how much your pinky has to work. All right. Because there's something strangely cool about Clang 13. Clang 11, she's moved on from. So there's Clang 11. Again, just a good exercise. Maybe use it for use it until your fingers know what they're supposed to do and the way to get it smooth. Play at half speed or a 3rd speed is perfectly fine. Klangbild 13, I agree, has something kind of cool about it. Klangbild 13, I don't like Klangbild 11. I'll be perfectly honest. I think it's way too hard for a song that doesn't sound particularly great. Let's do Klangbild 13, and hopefully this is the one that Vic was saying. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Let's just play it and see what happens. Okay, remember you got those quarter notes there are deceiving. They're not doing any kind of a job. They're just holding a space, waiting for the melody notes of, right? That's it. That's what all those quarter note rests are doing up there. Your real melody is coming out of the bass, And in this case, you're probably going to want to grab, to start the song off, thumb, index, and middle, and then as you get further into the song, your thumb is going to change up to the 4th string, and then ultimately all the way up here. So give it a try. From the top, something strangely cool about Klangbild 11. Oh, okay. So Vic had me confused. I don't like Klangbild 11, but she thinks there's something strangely cool about it. So I would say measure 13, 14 are so challenging that they're worth the effort to see what's going on there. Really spend some time thinking about the exact way to do the fingering. And I'd say overall, I don't know, not my thing. You meant 11. You did. There is something strangely cool about it, I guess. All right, let's do the 13. 1 and now see, this is at 104. That's pretty jaunty pace. We're not going to take it at that pace. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Last note, I think. Bong. And it's coming out of this chord, which feels an awful lot like, I don't know what this chord feels like. 1 and 2. I guess possibly. I guess it's really an A minor sound that's coming out of that. Yeah, let's play it again. This one I think is more. This one I think feels sad. But I like it better than 11. Let's try it one more time. 1 and let me count the 8s. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool part here. just hate that last note. Maybe put an E in front of it. It feels like there's no cadenza there, or not cadenza. You know how you like the end to go bum ba da dum bum bum bum. Then you have the bum bum. That's what it's missing. All right, Vic likes 13. I like 11. Or Vic likes 11. I like 13. And Linda's keeping quiet about the whole thing. Yeah, mess around with these. Let's move on to a legit song. Let's go grab. You got 2 weeks to get Malagueña together. Okay, so that's over. Let me pull it up here. What's it called? Iberian Dance. Yeah, that's what it's called. No, manual. Iberian Dance. Klangbild. Where the heck is that? What am I doing here? Oh, I gotta get rid of this one. Get rid of that one. Put this up here. All right, now we're back. Now we're in business. Okay, done. All right. I don't want to spend any time on this. I do want you to know it sounds like Malagueña. You'll have a ton of fun. 2 weeks on this. Sounds a little Malagueña-ish, right? And then grab your E chord, and then you have the right E on, right? That whole thing, as much drama as you can. The hard section here is in through 19 through about 34 is pretty challenging. I think, well, not through 30, 19 through 26. I was playing it earlier today and it was eating me up a little bit. So spend some time on it. It does sound exactly like Malagueña. And the fun part is at the very bottom you get the 042 042 thing, which is super fun. And the nice part, I have a Malagueña arrangement on the site somewhere. Just take it in pieces and parts, right? And then you can divide them up and move them around. Super fun song. All right, so that's the Iberian Dance. That's it, what we're going to talk about. We didn't get to Carulli tonight, guys. I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to take the Klangbilds off. I don't like those songs. And we'll give you another 2 weeks with Carulli and 2 weeks with Malagueña. How about that? That's not a bad couple of weeks. And so thank you guys for being here. I apologize, kept you over time tonight. We had a long talk. That tuckered me out, right? We had a long talk about trying to survive orchestra, so it put us time off a little bit. But I'm going to leave those two really fun songs on there. That should be all that should, honestly, that should keep you busy for the next 6 months. But yeah, 2 weeks with Iberian Dance, 2 weeks with Waltz by Carulli. You've also got Estudio in there. So yeah, 3 really full quality songs in there, and then of course Can't Be Farmer in the Dell, London Bridges, and for He's a Jolly Good Fellow to round out your week. Have a great couple of weeks off, guys. I'll see both of you on Thursday and Friday probably for ukulele, and that's what I know. So I hope you guys have a great night. Tuckered me out too. I will see you soon. Peace.